Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 50th episode of Voice of Silence. And because it's the 50th and it's very, very close to my heart, so I have to begin with a tiny story. The story is about myself. So here goes. A girl is born, and she is born wild and free. And she is flying with abandon, with gay abandon, and she keeps flying till about the age of 10 or 12. Around that time, she is asked to reduce herself and get into a box. Now, obviously, she doesn't know better, so she goes into the box and stays there, but she feels very stifled. But she stays there, and being the creative person that she is, she makes that box very pretty and thinks that is just how life is, although she can't breathe much. But there's a tiny hole in the box from where she can breathe and look at the world. But she does see her soul slowly drifting out of the box, and she doesn't understand what's going on, but she continues to be there, and the operative word here being she continues to stay well behaved. So then life goes on, and everybody loves her, not because she's well behaved or whatever else, but because she fits, because the box fits. But she doesn't fit. Where does she not fit? She does not fit inside herself. But that continues, and then adulthood comes. That's when, because she's been looking at her soul out there in the sky, but she can't touch it. She can just look at it. Then what happens is in adulthood, she does manage to break free. But see, the thing is that when she breaks free, that time she doesn't know how to fly. So she tries to fly, but she keeps falling. She is violently moved around by the winds, by everything. She keeps banging into things. Once in a while, she also touches upon her own soul, the soul spirit. She does touch upon, but she doesn't know what to do with it. So life is still going on. Until the year 2019, when a very old buried truth that she had buried inside herself comes out on its own. And it's a dark truth. And it comes out and she doesn't know what to do with it. And why did she bury the truth in the first place? Because she had to be well behaved, remember, and please everybody else. That is when her journey begins. The journey of literally going into, well, for the lack of a better word, hell. Okay, when we say hell, please don't take it in the way that we speak about hell. Hell is basically, she tries to run away from the discomfort and the pain that she starts to feel from 2019. She's 38 that time. And it's just very uncomfortable. It is very painful. But remember the soul spirit I'm speaking about, it kind of keeps banging into her. And because this girl is a very, very sensitive human being, she can feel that soul spirit whispering into her ears saying, look, you have to do something about this, which she does. What she does is she turns around. So instead of running away from the hell that I just spoke about, she turns around and literally faces each and every demon and monster one by one. But up until last year, she was managing that and kind of succeeding, but was feeling very helpless, hopeless, clueless, confused. It is last year, exactly 1 year ago. I don't know how this happened. This is some sort of synchronicity. Exactly 1 year ago, a call goes out to a person I would like to call an alchemist. Who is an alchemist now? We've all read the book. An alchemist is a person who converts lead into gold. Irony and the beauty in this is that my name, Kanika, means gold. So what does this mean? This means that I met an alchemist who literally showed me who I am and what am I made of. And how was that done? Through a lot of crying, obviously, through a lot of honesty, brutal honesty, through opening up of every wound and facing it, through a destruction which was required with the alchemist literally just standing there and saying, I'm there, but you need to self-destruct. And that happened. And through, it's called ventilation of rage. I'm quoting an author, it's ventilation. There was ventilation of rage that came out. And through all this, step by step, in close to 70 to 80 days, the alchemist made me meet myself a year ago. So it is only fitting that today, the 50th episode, is dedicated to that person. Now, who is this person? The world knows him as an executive coach, a leadership coach, a life coach. But for me, he is my guru and he is my guide. And with that, everybody, please, can we give a round of applause to Ashwni Sharma. Ashwni, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For gracing this 50th episode with your presence. And I have done my introduction, But if there's anything you would like to say about yourself before we start?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for your kind words and your acknowledgement. Though, honestly, I don't feel a thing right now. I was feeling, how do I feel when you're saying such things about me? Every session from the day when I started with this feeling that my guru is going to do everything that's going to happen here. So whatever you're saying is actually going to my guru, not to me. And that's what has happened. And that's one thing. The other part is, whatever the guru does, the transformation actually happens because of a disciple.
Yeah.
Whatever the disciple can dig out, extract from a guru, that is what, they transform into, right? So the whole credit, and I must tell all of you here, the kind of commitment after third session, she would start saying things which I have not yet shared with her. She would start doing things which I was surprised. How does she know where we are going? Though I was not leading her, but in my heart I knew that there is a place where we are going somehow. And you were so brilliant in that. And I think it's between you and that. And what's that guru? The guru is your own inner guru, right? And who's that guru who guided me? Your own inner guru, actually. That's what I feel. There's no outside person sitting, right? My inner guru versus your inner guru. And that's how it all happened. And I'm much grateful that you invited me for this show. Voice of Silence. Now, silence has been my life internally. And it's such a beautiful topic. The moment you asked me, what's your voice of silence? The pop came the answer, nothing, because I feel nothing. What do I know? What am I doing? I'm not doing anything. My actions are not mine anymore when I'm dealing with somebody. So it came nothing. But nothing is a practice of the entire life I have lived, right? Which we are going to talk about later. But right now, to respect this voice of silence. So there is voice, and then there is silence, and these, as I said, the camera people are the eyes of silence. So to give gratefulness to, because it's the 50th episode, to give gratefulness to the silence, let's hear that voice of silence.
Sure.
Is it okay if we do a little bit of silence, or let's call it meditation, right? Okay, are you ready? Can you just probably be a little... so we have more people coming, so thank you very much. Please sit and just close your eyes for some time. Forget what's happening. Just take a deep breath. Just experience very quickly what this voice of silence probably is. Everyone has their own definitions. Let's just see what is ours. So just relax and start hearing the sounds around you. Whatever you can hear, just list them in your mind. Be very sharp, careful, what's going on, what are the sounds, identify them. And now watch the space you are sitting in, feel the energy of the space you are sitting in, your surrounding. Now feel your body. What are your parts which are pressing down on a surface? Feel that. Feel every part which is pressing down on a surface. Feel your body. Be aware completely. And now go a little deeper into your body and feel any twitching, any sounds inside the body. Maybe the heart beating. Become fully aware of the inside of your body. And then go a little bit deeper now. Think that spine is a tube and you are inside that spine. Just be inside the spine. Just inside, right in the center, into that tube called spine. And then feel the breath going in and coming out of this tube called spine. Nothing to do, just watching, going in and going out. Mind digresses, no problem, just get it back, be in the spine. And now, right at the core, feel what you're feeling. Whatever it is, just feel. Feel the feeling. What are you feeling? Name it. Identify it. It could be boredom. When is it going to end? Could be anything. Feel the feeling. And now carefully watch who has been observing all of this. Who was observing? Who observed this feeling, the spine, the body, the surrounding? Who was watching all through this? And now feel who's watching, the person who's watching. And the cycle continues. Who's watching the person who's watching, the person who's watching, the person who's watching the spine and the body and the surroundings, everything. Just be with that consciousness. And the moment you're ready, just slowly come back through the same channel, or maybe instantly. Take a deep breath and just relax.
We used to do this a lot in our sessions. We had so many of them, and I had been meditating for a while, but meditating is like you never really arrive, and it keeps changing every day. It's not like it's not like this, like that. I think everybody has their own versions. But because it was such an intense session with Ashwini that this is how we used to start every session, and then go in from here to wonderful places. Wonderful places we used to go to. So yeah, coming back, thank you for that, Ashwini. Thank you for the, well, what can I say? The silence and the going within. because I think it's the going within that allows us to stay mindful. And like you said, who's watching, that is something that has always helped. And that's where I think somewhere, because of the lack of our imagination, or I don't know, we do dissolve into nothingness, is what I feel. Because you keep going, then it dissolves into such a tiny spot that almost seems like nothing. And everything. I don't know what that is. But if I may, begin with the more worldly questions, which may be... no, because we will kind of go from there to where we have to. My question to you is that you are, and this is my personal feeling, because I've been with a lot of other people as well, in terms of the mental health space. You have a quality of spirituality in you. I think everything is based on that in everything that you do. What made you choose leadership or executive coaching? I'm not saying why not spirituality and that. I'm saying, was it based on this? Did you know that? What made you go there? Because I understand you were in a corporate scenario before moving into this. What made you pivot?
That's a great question, actually. And if I'm totally vulnerable, it's about my daily bread, because corporate pays well, right? What I do there, the person who is my coachee understands and may relate to what you feel, but there has to be some focus and a way to earn your daily bread, right? And that's all about coaching the corporate world, being a leadership coach.
Okay, I'll reframe the question then. When you started out, you did not start out as a coach.
No.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like so many people, they leave their jobs and get into like maybe business or profitable businesses, or like in my case, well, I have entered some bit of mental health also, but I'm an artist.
Wow.
So like that, I'm saying, what made you go into the coaching bit?
Okay. I thought the corporate coaching bit.
No, just the coaching. Corporate, yaar, paise to sabko kamane hai.
So that's it.
Come on, we're living in Gurgaon.
That's the truth, right? So,
yeah, but why coaching is what
why
I'm
coaching?
saying.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, I didn't know I'm going to be a coach ever. I think since people know me as a corporate worker, leader, working with corporates for 20 years, and then being a coach for almost 10 years, executive life coach, whatever you may like to say, right? So 20 plus 10, people know me that way. Some people, not people, right? So some people know me that way. Some people know me as a father, son, brother, husband, right? Some people know me as a naughty kid. Some people know me as badmash, naughty, that kind. Some people know me as a sensitive person. Some people know me as there are many, many adjectives which the world may be thinking about me. But the truth be said, since my childhood, I have been passionate about only one thing. Coaching to baat ki baat. Discovering my own self. And discovering the mysteries of life and maybe beyond a little bit. Right? So that's my passion. Since the age of 3-4 years, I remember. Yeah. Personally remember. Right? Okay. I touched that. Anyway, so I personally remember that I was exactly what we did today. I used to feel that way. Mirror and mirror kind of a thing. Am I the only one thinking like this? Who's thinking like this? At 4, I used to start, going into that space. And then, life happened. Blah, blah, blah. Cut short. I left a job in London, came back to India, and I was on a sabbatical for 2 years, or 2 months, sorry. Right? 2-3 months, I guess. And then suddenly it happened again, because all that while I was running with all the expectations of my family, the world, the society, right? The assumptions, my own beliefs, what life all about, you forget what you are.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this hit me. Oh hell, what have I been doing? Where was I running all this while? And then I, in fact, started my spiritual journey in the year 2007 when I came back.
Okay.
Right. And the first thing I did was Vipassana, earlier in my 10th standard, if I actually missed that, in my 10th standard, I picked up an Osho book and I didn't know anything about it. And that started my reflection journey. Wow, how thoughts can vary. And then various gurus happened, now my current guru and all that happened. But the real thing started in 2007 when I went for Vipassana, came back, joined another company, and I launched the company, set it up. I had like 10 department heads working night and day, this, that, and the other. And then 3 years later, after launching the company, I could sit a bit again, right? Because now the department heads were working after 3 years. And then khali dimag shaitan ka ghar. And then again, this thought started coming, oh, what am I doing? Then I met some spiritual gurus during that time. And I started feeling, oh man, why did I stop what my real passion is? So the real passion is discovering myself, which I have done all through.
Yeah.
Maybe I was not a little conscious during a little bit of time. But then I thought, let me get into it. And that's where, after doing Kriya Yoga, Vipassana, meditation, having a guru called Paramahansa Yogananda, having personal experiences with Satya Sai Baba, working in the organizations, social service, etc., I realized that I have let go of, and inner child work, and therapy, and all that. I realized that the load has shed.
Yeah.
And now the ghada is ready and clean to be filled in with fresh water. That's where I started my meditation journey, and it's been 12, 13 years. I've been meditating continuously for 1.5 hour every day. And that got me into the coaching world. I didn't even know that I wanted to be a coach. All that is worldly. But yeah, that's how I've landed up in coaching. And now I'm sharing that whatever I can.
So for all the viewers that are watching and the audience here, like I said, and it's very interesting, by the way, that Ashwini's wife, Yoshita, she's also here. And by the way, she was also one of our speakers. I got to know about Yoshita first through a common group that we all have. And I was in touch with her and she helped me with a lot of things, right? And then there was this one day when I asked her that, Yoshita, I'm feeling like I am pain. I can't explain this enough to people. We were having coffee one day, and that time I told her, I feel like if there is a wall of pain, I am that wall. Literally, I used to feel that. I can't explain this. It is that time when Yoshita led me to Ashwini. That's just how life is. Like how Ashwini said in the beginning, that it's your guru guiding you to another guru, but I think they're all universally one. It's just we are all carrying different bodies, I feel. And good na, to kaise recognize karenge ek dusre ko. So what Ashwini just said about the ghada and everything, I now relate, now sitting here, because, a little digression here. When I began with Ashwini, I said earlier that I've been with other mental health practitioners, but it is very, and fair enough, it is very transactional, wherein it is, okay, now your time is up, so then the person who's the client or the person who really needs healing is left high and dry to fetch for himself or herself, which is great if you're equipped. What if you don't have the tools? Then you can go get lost and go to a very dark space. I almost went to that dark space in the middle of my session with Ashwini. That's why I use the word self-destruct. It is not self-destruct negatively. It's very positive self-destruction which happened. And Ashwini, I remember messaging him. This was not a session time, nothing. We used to meet weekly. I remember messaging him and saying, Ashwini, I'm feeling such and such. I'm feeling this right now. Now that is why I have to keep saying this, that coach, to humne word use kiya hua hai. Because it's kind of related to coaching, coach. This person is a spiritual guide. He literally stood there, and time seems to cease to exist when you are under his tutelage or under his guidance. There were times when din ka raat ho jata tha and we used to be in the session. There was no discussion that time then vis-a-vis money. which is a worldly thing, and you just listen to him speak, right? That it came to me again and I really wanted to do this. What I'm trying to do here is kind of back what he just said, because I have experienced it firsthand. I have, where he would get so into healing you and where you want to be, and but just standing there with a lamp, not touching you. By touching, I mean not telling you, ye karna hai, ye karo abhi, instruction, telling, guiding like that, no. Standing there with the lamp, you are minding your own business, but he's standing there, that I feel is the key to a person who's your guide or guru. And I think that's what he means by his own gurus and guides. But that said, Ashwini, I know this, but I would like to ask you, I've never asked you then, but you've now been with, I don't know, hundreds of people, you must have led them in this way or that, in a professional transaction, in a spiritual transaction, in a coaching transaction. What do you think is the most difficult thing that a human being has to deal with in their journey of self-discovery? And it's an ongoing journey, I understand that. But what is the most difficult?
Very interesting question. So pop comes the answer, it is relative, right?
Yeah.
It's so relative that it cannot be measured.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. I was at a hospital. There were people who were unwell. They were cribbing. It's getting so late, they don't see us on time, things like that. There was a couple sitting with a child like 15-year-old, and I later realized both of them were blind. And this 15-year-old was the most patient person in the room, right? And he was so loving, he was so caring about surroundings, and he was managing both of them so beautifully that I just got mesmerized. Even I forgot where I was at that time. I was mesmerized by the resilience and the love of this person. So it all depends on where are you, at what stage are you, right? I was in the elections recently giving my vote, and we were standing in a queue. It's so hot. Half the people were happy, half the people were not.
Yeah.
They were cribbing, this wrong, that wrong. It all depends on you. It's relative. So the toughest situation is very, very relative. But one thing, because you've asked, what I feel is not accepting is the toughest thing in life.
And not accepting what?
The reality, wherever you are, whatever you face, whatever you feel. Like if you're angry, you feel, oh, anger is bad. I shouldn't be angry. I should change it. I should transform this.
Yeah.
We always try to negate the wrong.
Yeah.
Right? We have to understand and accept. We have to understand and accept. That's the cycle. If you don't go through, if you do not accept, then life is tough. At many, many places, life is really tough. So that's how it is.
Do you think that gatekeeper is the ego, which says, "Tum bahar raho, tum negative"? Do you think that's the ego, and then the ego disintegrates is when you expand and allow everything to come inside? You think that's the case?
Yeah.
And the gatekeeper keeps, ऐसा नहीं है कि चला जाता है, नए बनते रहते हैं.
In fact, I usually don't use the word ego. उसका reason ये है कि we don't even know the word ego. And without ego, we'll fall back.
Yeah.
Because our identity keeps us standing.
Yeah.
That I am a human being, I have to sit straight.
Yeah.
This is all ego, right? So it's very difficult to define ego. So I will not get into the ego as such. But the gatekeeper is consciousness. How observant are you? How much time have you devoted into sharpening your consciousness and observing your life and lives of others and things like that? So I don't know whether I've answered your
No, absolutely.
question. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. No, so that's what, we are getting deeper into this, which is why you're here, Ashwini. When you say consciousness, then you and I would talk about myself. I know because you have far more experience, but the little experience that I have noticed people are not even aware of what consciousness is.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I don't know. The reality is people would be able to tell us whether they know or don't know about consciousness, but everybody has this See,
Is it like a compass? Is it like a radar? Like, if, let's say there is somebody who's watching us right now and not understanding what consciousness means. आप उनको क्या बोलोगे?
उनको ये बोलेंगे कि आपने कुछ गलत काम किया, सिर्फ आपको पता है कि आपने किया है. आपके लिए गलत है तो वो गलत है. Right? You are happy, you know that you are happy. वो है ना गाना, when you can.
You're happy and you know it, clap your hands. हाँ,
right?
Correct.
So you know it. So usually you know it. Consciousness is that. Are you aware of what's going on? That's it. Awareness. Is consciousness.
Can we interchange awareness and consciousness as words?
Absolutely. Awareness is the journey towards consciousness. Yeah.
Okay. So then, is it right to say that I don't want to be aware because then I'll have to accept, and that hurts?
That's a beautiful point actually. Yeah.
आप ही देखिए, देखिए एक साल पहले आपने ही मुझे इस जर्नी पे चलाया है, तो अब आपको तो जवाब देना पड़ेगा.
Thank you very much.
आपने मेरे साथ ये बताइए कि ये है. हाँ.
Awareness is really painful. It's not easy. But it again depends on a person. But more so it is painful if you really are truthful to yourself. We go for parties, we engage ourselves in phone, TVs, drinking, smoking, all of this, traveling, reading, all of this is to avoid what we are feeling. To avoid all of this, and don't get me wrong, it's not just avoidance. It is actually a journey which gets you back to yourself. All of these, reading books, traveling, everything, writing, everything gets you back. But the person who isn't aware will never know that all this is happening and he or she is doing because they don't want to feel what is here.
Yeah.
And without feeling what is here, in truth, in reality, right? You remember quite a lot of questions where, we were saying something, but actually inside something else was.
Yeah, because you would ask.
Yeah.
कि हाँ वो सब ठीक है. अब next अंदर क्या है, लेकिन अंदर क्या है?
Reality क्या है?
And yeah, just 1 second. It is very painful. And you know what? With the guru like this, they can see through. वो आपके सर के थ्रू पीछे वॉल देख रहे हैं, तो आप ना उनको झूठ नहीं बोल सकते. And आप झूठ बोलना चाहते नहीं हो. It's not like you want to lie to him. It's just that you don't even want to lie to yourself. But when you're in so much pain, तो आपको लगता है भैया खत्म कब होगा ये? When will this get over? And how much will you cry? How much will you rage? So, but then that's what. So then you need a very apt guru, I would say. Apt is the word. Suitable is the word. Your energies also need to match. Your wavelengths need to match. I feel that. I know that Ashwni will have another point of view here. But that's what I felt with him. That I could say anything and totally be myself. So, that said, आपके लिए, I had asked you what is the most difficult for human beings.
Yeah.
Has it been the same for you in your personal journey? Do you see that this is the hardest thing? Because I feel we don't arrive. Like, पहुंच गए जी, सब पता है हमें, वो तो I doubt it. We are all, because we're changing and dying every day and, taking birth every day. Ashwini, in your journey for yourself as Ashwni Sharma, what is the hardest thing for you every day? In this journey, I'm not talking about world.
In this journey, in the sense?
Of your self-discovery.
Of myself?
Yes. Because
Man,
what is it?
Tough.
Every day, what is the toughest commonality, I would ask?
So it's like this. First, you're a child, you're aware. I remember, and you know everything, actually. Soham, my son, when he was born, I would take my thumb near to his lips and he'll do this to have milk. Right? How does he know that he needs to suck something for the milk to come? We give him a bottle, right? And he knows how to hold it and then put it in his lips and start sucking.
Yeah.
And then hold for a while. Just look at the detail. Hold for a while, let the air go back in, and so that he can suck again. Man, how...
It's amazing. It's magical.
Amazing how we already know everything.
Yeah.
Right? But we forget because of societal pressure, of parental pressure, of incidences which happen in our lives. Certain things we cannot control, right? How we look, what people say about our looks, who beat us up, who sexually harassed us, who did this, that, and the other. So many things. What do we do? What do we do with that? It's not people's fault at all.
Yeah.
Every child has to go through certain challenges in life, but they don't have anyone to let it out, right? So I was quite similar. I was ragged and bullied and hit hockey shots in my boarding school. I used to sit like this for 3 days because of the hockey shot, right? Who should I tell that to, right? So it's a tough thing to be aware. And then when awareness is your passion, man, let me tell you, every moment. So there are two things. One is that you need to be aware. The other is how not to be judgmental when you are aware.
That's even tougher.
That's the toughest. It's a double whammy, right? You are angry, you are aware you are angry,
Yeah.
right? And then, bloody hell, again I got angry, right? You kill yourself for it. That's it. And there are many, many such examples all of you can relate with in your life, where the main pain happens because we do not accept what's happening inside us as a part of life. Negative and positive makes a life, right? So anyway, I've gotten digressed into that, but that's my life. That's what I've observed. And that's the toughest thing for me, to not be judgmental and all accepting about my flaws. Even when you call me a guru, how difficult it is. I get angry, just imagine. I get angry, I get nervous, I get everything. And you call me a guru. How difficult it is for me to be aware of that, and still it's okay. And keep moving on. That's toughest.
Yeah.
Absolutely tough.
It's very interesting you said the guru bit, because you may or may not believe this, Ashwini, but there are few people who call me not their guru, their teacher.
Okay.
In terms of physical fitness, because I was a Zumba instructor, and some people got into fitness because of me. So every Teacher's Day, they wish me Happy Teacher's Day because you got me into this. The same thought comes into me कि मेरे को teacher बोल रहे हैं, like, do they know मेरे जिंदगी में क्या चल रहा? What is this? It's such a big load to carry. But then I think the fun bit is the consciousness and the awareness that you're talking about is to know we are all the same.
Yeah.
अब आप मुझे किसी तरह लीड कर रहे हो, I'm not saying you are perfection. What I'm saying is you led me. Thus you're my guru. That's it. है ना? So that's what I feel. That's what I feel about you. But coming back to आप जो कह रहे थे कि ये हर रोज होता है. If I were to give you an example, ये ट्रेन स्टेशन है where you're aware, और ये ट्रेन है, ये आपके थॉट्स हैं, क्योंकि आपने एक दो बार मुझे बताया भी है ये ट्रेन स्टेशन है जहाँ पे पूरा पीस, काम, सेंटरिंग, अवेयरनेस इज देयर. देन दिस इज द ट्रेन जो बहुत जल्दी में ही रहती है, जब देखो जल्दी में रहती है, विच इज आवर थॉट्स. ये भागते रहते हैं. जब ये भाग जाते हैं, पीपल लाइक यू हु आर अ लिटिल अवेयर वुड नो शिट, फिर भाग गई यार, देन यू कॉल इट बैक. ये कितनी बार होता है आपके दिन में? एंड जब होता है, आप कितनी बार जजमेंट देते हो अपने आप को, या आप बोलते हो चली गई, चलो चलो वापस चलो चलो चलो, एंड यू कम बैक टू द ट्रेन स्टेशन. Like how many times, if you were to like, I know you can't count the times, but let's say percentage wise, has it become better? If somebody wants to follow, that's what I'm asking.
So there are two things. One, it has become better, definitely.
Because of practice?
Because of practice. One, practicing meditation, practicing awareness, all that has made it better. Most important thing, why cannot we be aware? Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say my belief is that I need to look good. I need to talk decently. I don't need to get angry. I should come out as a very soft-spoken, good-hearted. Right? Somebody in your childhood made you believe that. Just giving a very simple example. Yeah. Right? Somebody in your childhood, and of course we pick up everything in our
information
childhood,
from anywhere.
So we picked up that. Now we are mostly not observing ourselves, not being aware, because our mind is going towards our beliefs and values and systems
and following it.
And following it, right? So yes, to answer you, for me, two things have helped. One, meditating. and practicing. It's all about practice. You want to run a 100-meter race, you better run. You can't read books. You can't intellectualize. You have to run to win a 100-meter race, right? So practicing awareness is one. Number two, you can't practice awareness if you have not let go of the load of the past.
Yeah.
These are two very important things. And still, whatever has happened in your life affects you, but lesser and lesser. I don't know about enlightened gurus. Do they ever get reminded how they were slapped by their father? I don't know. I don't know about that. But for me, because I have not experienced enlightenment, I do sometimes forget and get into that conscious, self-conscious. So one is consciousness, the other is self-consciousness.
Yeah.
The self-consciousness doesn't let you be aware. Too much. So one is awareness.
I didn't understand that.
Okay.
फिर से please बताओ.
So self, मैं कैसा लग रहा हूँ?
हाँ.
मैं कैसा दिख रहा हूँ? ये self-consciousness है, मतलब you being self-conscious about it. So all this actually, your mind, your thought is in observing that, right? And you are not able to come back to yourself, right? And these beliefs and values do not let you come back to yourself. So first, that has to be let go of. Definitely, without that, even meditation doesn't happen. This is my personal experience. I have started with meditation, as I said, Vipassana. I've been a meditator throughout. But what has really helped me is to let go of the wounds of my childhood, of the beliefs, of the values, of the frustrations, of the judgments, brutal judgments of my childhood, right? And then acknowledging it, accepting it, loving it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
What I have gone through is not my fault.
Yeah.
That's key, right? So all that has happened through practice, through inner child therapy, because I had to go through it myself. I have cried and cried for 18 hours. We had gone together, right? Yoshta and I. 18 hours a day for 7 days we were crying, right? Oh, where is this crying coming from?
Yeah.
What is making us cry and feel bad? All of that is andar jama hua hai. It's like the ghada full of muck. Now, where will you fill the fresh water? That fresh water is meditation. Now, you keep meditating, but that's still there.
Yeah.
Now, the water gets mucky after some time. And then, the beauty is, you judge yourself more. Because now you are a meditator.
Now you are the guru.
Now you are this, now you are that. Then it impacts you much more inside. And we do not let that feeling affect us.
Yeah.
We say, ignore, ignore, abhi to theek chal raha hai. But wo theek chalega nahi. And then you'll keep judging yourself. So that's what I think.
I'm in that part too that he just mentioned. First part, when he said so inner child is something that if anybody is interested, it is inner child therapy actually, which led me to him. In the beginning, when I gave the introduction and I said, I was so helpless, and when I said that I turned and I met hell and I made hell my home. I was like, अब इसको घर बनाएंगे हम, बहुत हो गया. लेकिन अकेला इंसान ना नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि आप darkness में जाते हो. And that's when it was a very helpless day. The first call with Ashwni, I still remember it. He's like, I wanted to do past life regression. And because I felt that I wasn't being able to love or receive love. I mean, what kind of a weird ass place is that, right? And I am known for as being a person who loves a lot, by the way. So imagine how detached I must be, and don't use this detachment as जो हमें actually होनी चाहिए, not that. How disconnected I must have been from my spirit soul, that I was not feeling love. And by the way, this was only last year. 1 year of Voice of Silence had been completed. Can you imagine? This was that state when that call went to Ashwni, and within no time he said, Kanika, past life regression to mujhe lag nahi raha hai. We need to do inner child therapy. And I'm like, okay. And like I said, being a sensitive person, and I do consider myself, my intuition is very strong. I know it. I mean, I just know it. So that intuition came in, and it was like, just go for it. No questions asked, done. Dheere dheere, when I started with Ashwni, some of the things which he just mentioned were, he used to do this action and say, enmeshment hai Kanika, enmeshment. Tab na samajh nahi aata tha. What do you mean by enmeshment? What? Especially with my parents. Now see, like you just mentioned, in a child therapy, which means there were wounds. Do you know that in my childhood, बच्चे को नहीं, बच्चे पता कैसे सोचते हैं, इसलिए that's a different topic, but what I'm saying is grades, how you look, how your weight is, and all of those things that do not make you a bad person. But बच्चे वैसा ही सोचते हैं, you know, कि मैं ही गंदी इंसान हूँ. मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, I've turned 43 this year. For 42 years, I've felt I'm not worth it. Not worth it. मतलब that's why I have proved. I've gone in extremes. Always proving, no, ये जो उन्होंने अभी बोला कि self consciousness, right? I have to look good. I need to lose weight. I need to be excellent in everything that I do. Why? Because of that person somewhere sitting in my childhood, right? So that's what he just mentioned with inner child therapy. That is something that's a side note, but I would really, really with folded hands request everybody who's dealing with anything to definitely go through inner child therapy, because it makes you meet the little child. A fun thing here, before we started, sorry Ashwini, ये 50th है और ये लंबा चलेगा.
No, that's okay, absolutely.
You know, Ashwini had told me, जाके ना आपको जो थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है ना toy, वो लेके आओ. I got such a big bear. He's like, what is this? I said, it's a teddy bear. He said, ये नहीं. Get something that reminds you of yourself. Do you know, it's a little doll and it sits in front of me every day. Every day. And since then, there are 2 childhood pictures of mine which resonate the most with me. One is, I think, year 4 and one is year 6. That's who I am, you know. वो मेरे bathroom, why? Because that's the place that it's my personal space. वो वहाँ चिपकी हुई है. So every day I look at them, it's all because of Ashwini. He didn't tell me to do it, I have done it. Because they remind me of who I am. You know, your child is the real you, it's the closest to your soul, the closest to God. On that note, the next thing that I want to ask you, and ये थोड़ा twisted सवाल है. आपने थोड़ी देर पहले बोला we read and we do whatever we do other activities. It's a question, Ashwini.
Sure.
Before doing all this, there was a time when I used to do the reading bit and writing and everything almost as a compensation. You're running away. Compensation कि नहीं, पर अगर by chance किसी ने पूछ लिया तो ये वो. But अभी उसका essence change हो गया. मुझे तो reading अभी भी बहुत पसंद है, पर अब वो अलग ये होता है.
बिल्कुल होता है.
इसका क्या मतलब है?
इसका मतलब ये है कि you don't stop living your life. You don't go into a mountain and sit because you are now aware. So you don't have to do anything. It's just the nature. ये क्या लिखा है ना यहाँ पे कुंजुम में?
It's all the way you think. About the way you think, yeah.
That changes.
है ना? It changes.
Everything remains
You may
same.
still be doing the same things.
You can be a passionate reader.
Yeah.
You could be a passionate writer. That doesn't stop.
The why.
But the avoidance.
Of
key issues goes away, and then you are really flowing into that. You're really reading. Right? My family is here. So if they're talking and they're not talking to me and I am doing something, earlier it was not that. I was all over the place thinking ये क्या सोच रहा है, वो क्या सोच रहा है, ये क्या बोल रहा है, ये क्यों बोल रहा है. अभी मैं अगर मेरे से बात नहीं कर रहे हैं तो ये मुझसे पूछेंगे सुना, I said क्या? Zero awareness of what they are talking about because they were not talking to me. I'm not saying when they are talking to me.
ये सवाल है क्योंकि इसके अंदर आ जाती है सिस्टर. नहीं सिस्टर तो सिस्टर, वो तो खून का रिश्ता है. एक और रिश्ते की बात करेंगे हम. See if you can hear, that's the wife who was laughing in the background. वहाँ पे सब ठीक चलता है. फिर जब आप इतना awareness and although she's from the same space, yet does she give you that discount कि ठीक है, you are being mindful.
So
दुनिया चली जाए, बेल बजती रहे, सब कुछ हो रहा है, मैं कर रही हूँ, पर आप अवेयर रहिए, आप माइंडफुल रहिए अपने फोन के अंदर. I'm kidding. I'm just taking the liberty to just little fool around, please. But yeah.
Something came up in my mind. So, बहन के साथ, sister के साथ खून का नाता होता है.
तो ये ऐसे करने की जरूरत नहीं. सुई क्यों चला रहे हो? खून वैसे भी समझ. What are you doing this? Sorry.
ये काट देना बेटे. मजाक उड़ा रही. अच्छा सुनो. So wife की बहन के साथ होता है खून का रिश्ता. वाइफ इसलिए कह रहा था क्योंकि वाइफ के साथ होता है खून का रिश्ता. आप नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड. मतलब डोंट
आ गया.
तो बहन के साथ होता है खून का रिश्ता, वाइफ के साथ होता है खून का रिश्ता. तो खून तो होगा बिल्कुल होगा. और बस फर्क क्या पड़ता है, पहले आप लड़ते थे तो 10 दिन तक मन में रहता था ब्लडी हाउ डेयर. अब 10 मिनट भी बहुत मुश्किल से रहता है, which I think she is not able to accept because ऐसे you are being artificial. How can you? So that's possible. But for me, nothing holds on. वो मिट्टी की तरह निकल रहा है. Touch wood, मतलब I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Touch wood because I'm yet not there as I feel. But yeah.
You know, another quality of Ashwini's is that that changing. एक incident हुआ था when I'll not get into it, but I was identifying myself with a certain term for a few days, and I remember him telling me on the phone, ऐसे ही, मतलब messaging करके that, and what is this new term that you are associating yourself with? Why is that important? एंड देन यार देखो होता है ना, देखो हम तो अटैचमेंट ही करते रहेंगे, हम ह्यूमन बींग्स हैं, पहले अटैच करते हो फिर रियलाइज करते हो शिट अटैच हो गया, देन यू डिटैच, राइट? सो दैट टाइम व्हेन समबडी इज हीलिंग यू, ही और शी बिकम्स योर, फॉर द लैक ऑफ अ बेटर वर्ड, द पर्सन टू गो टू. सो व्हेन ही सेज दैट यू आर डूइंग समथिंग, देन यू क्वेश्चन कि मैं कुछ गलत कर रही हूँ क्या. देन केम 3 days later a message, Kanika, I'm sorry, you do what you have to. So that I feel is the humility that any human being I feel is a good quality to have, let alone a guru. He actually messaged me, he said, मैंने उस दिन बोला था आपको कि you're identifying too much with a certain term. You want to identify, go ahead identify. I'm nobody to tell you not to. And it was not out of जाने दो, नहीं, out of real like authenticity. That आपको उस moment में जो मन कर रहा है करने के लिए करो आप, ठीक है. So this is based on, he made a joke just now about about Yoshita, his wife, probably saying you're being artificial, whatever. Let me also tell you, by the way, they both are equally, they must have arrived different at different spaces, but they both are very evolved, solid people, of course at their own pace. And that's the next question. How is it when you live with another evolved human being? Because evolution can't be same. Like, pace अलग होता है. And आपने ही कहा है कि it is a personal question, I know, and you can say no, not to answer.
No, why not?
Just saying.
My life is an open book. I can talk about anything. You want to talk about our fights?
वो आज के लिए रहने देते. But because see, everybody evolves differently, है ना, and very differently also. Pattern भी अलग, time भी अलग, pace, phase, everything अलग. उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा वो कब होता? Friction हुआ था कभी? And जो होता है तो किस चीज़ का friction होता है? And is there an ego that, I'm using the word ego, but you know what I'm saying, that of sometimes superiority also. I have done more work. I'm asking as because I have experienced that. So ऐसा हुआ है?
इसका लंबा जवाब है.
ये एपिसोड लंबा है. आपको जितना बोलिए प्लीज.
इतना लंबा नहीं, इसको छोटा करूँगा. But the thing is, how do we meet the other person we think we should marry? First of all, we go back right there where we choose to marry someone. Why do we do that? So we are all moving around like packages of wounds.
Yeah.
Lots of cavity inside, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you first meet each other and you like each other, what is that liking? That liking is all about finding your cavity outside. So, Yoshita as such came from a very different background. I came from a very different background, not socially, I'm saying thought-wise. Right? So, she was born and brought up as a hard-working, responsible, committed person. I was totally born as a not bottom, I wouldn't blame my parents, but I was always a rebel. You know why a rebel becomes a rebel?
Yeah.
Because he wants to break free of the parental clutches, right? So I was that rebel, and I was completely, she used to call me muft. Muft means एक तो आदमी cheap.
एक होता
total muft. मतलब कि cheap का भी मतलब don't be cheap type, right? So वो muft type में था. तो now suddenly जिसके घर में एकदम seriousness हो, intellectual discussions ही हो, कभी हाथ नहीं उठाओ, इतने प्यार से पाला हो, वो देखे यार ये कितना free है. इसको कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है किसी चीज का. यू गेट अट्रैक्टेड. यू फाइंड कि ये मैंने कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया. वाओ, दिस फ्री गाय, राइट? दैट कैविटी. मेरे साथ कुछ और प्रॉब्लम, सेल्फ बर्थ इश्यूज, मारा पीटा सब कुछ पटक के मारा, राइट? सो सेल्फ बर्थ इश्यूज, राइट? सो आई हैड दिस कैविटी. कितनी कॉन्फिडेंट है यार. फर्स्ट टाइम आई मेट हर इन कोका कोला, तो वी शुक हैंड. She shook so firmly and it gave me this, wow, ये तो solid है. अब वो solid क्या है? वो मेरी weakness का cavity solid. That strong person comes in my life, I find attractive. The strong person finds the vulnerable attractive. You're getting my point? And then you meet, and then you marry, and then you get up on the same bed every day. Then you want to have a खून का रिश्ता. अब है कौन ये आदमी, right? Who is this guy? So irritating. Because that the other person and the so both start thinking that. So to come to your question now, कि लड़ाई हुई है भैया महाभारत वो भी होती है और हर के साथ होती है, फाइट होती है, but it's the day you decide that this is for life, the core matches, and you decide this is for life. Now let's let go of our loads. And we were lucky. We found great teachers, gurus, the inner child work, Dr. Newton Condoviti, I must name him. What a brilliant spiritual. So there are many inner child therapists or people who practice that. But one great spiritual master, he's a master, enlightened master, I would say, who does inner child therapy. And that's where I learned from. That's where you feel the spiritual connect in the therapy also.
Yeah.
Right. So that really, we realized, this is why we are getting irritated. This is why we are fighting to each other. We don't hate each other. It's the cavity we got attracted with. And now that cavity doesn't want the other because we've not healed ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? So now, if we heal ourselves, so you bolte na better half, galat, ye better half hi problem hai. You have to become whole.
Yeah.
Right? What better
Learn to
half?
coexist.
You will never find yourself in the other.
Yeah.
When you become whole and another whole comes, right? That's good. Otherwise, you always keep fighting.
Touch wood though, and I think the luckiest
Touch
people.
wood for? Sorry, I'm sorry to
Touch wood. That two people, it's rare, and that two people, decide together. See, you said, यार एक इंसान को पता है cavity and has worked, the other person को पता भी नहीं है cavity and is not working, that's not going to work.
Awareness, again.
Awareness. That I'm saying. Touch wood, and it's great. I think which is why you are where you are, and she is where she is. No, because awareness, चाहे अलग-अलग time पे people are growing, but the fact that we are in this together for life, अंदर से core, let's work towards it. You at your pace, me at my pace. I think that is wonderful. That's a very nice relationship advice also. Right. One last question before the final question. Yeah. Where do you fail every day? Do you fail?
Yeah. So, failure. We have our own conceptions or misconceptions of words. So, first of all, what do we mean by failure? Is the key question. So, what do you mean by failure?
Okay, what I mean by failure. Okay, for me, failure is the unit of success for me. But I'm asking you.
नहीं समझा.
मेरे लिए मेरी परिभाषा success is made of failures. According to me, मेरा unit वो है.
अच्छा, you going
But
that way?
वो मेरा छोड़ दो. मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ failure in the real sense where you wanted something and couldn't achieve it. मेरा वो वाला sense है. I'm asking you a disappointment. Okay, disappointment. That comes after not being able to do something. In the self-discovery bit, again, not that ये client नहीं मिला, वो पैसे नहीं आए, not that. Where you feel, oh, नहीं हुआ, and then you say, चलो ठीक है, I'll try again. Which is that weakest point? चलो, that I'll rephrase the question.
That's a great question then, but I still don't understand. I don't regard it as a failure because
I'm sure you won't, even I don't.
But I get it. What you mean? Where do you feel bad?
हाँ. Every day, यार ये थोड़ा okay, challenges. Better word, challenge.
I got it. Challenge, feeling not good about something. I think I only feel not good about things where I'm not able to honor my commitment, especially to my family, which means earning the amount of money I need to earn, my responsibility towards my family. So I give you an example. I went into Himalayas when I was practicing meditation. I've written an article also on that. 8 days I lived. कुत्ते सोते थे वहाँ हम कुत्ते मेरे बेड के अंदर आके सो जाते थे. That kind of place, complete, isolated and into the Himalayas beyond Rishikesh, and I lived there for 8 days, and I suddenly started feeling कि यार यही है मेरी life. मेरे को और कुछ करने का मन ही नहीं करता है और कोई passion ही नहीं है. Right? तो एक बाबा जी मिले पहाड़ों में, तो वो मिले, बातचीत हुई, we started talking. And he said, look, he started giving me example. He understood. And then he started giving, look, Karl Marx, Buddha, they all left their wives. Why don't you, if this is your passion? Quick came the answer. God later, consciousness later, my commitment first. Quick. I didn't even think about it. And then next day I came back. And you know what that Babaji did? Charan khaya, okay. Because he couldn't do that. And I think my failure, if I choose to use that word failure, then failure happens if I'm not able to, and not in my way, where my family feels. Again, I'm not forcing it upon myself. This is wrong, this is no. When my family feels I've not done something right, or I'm not taking care in the way I should, then I sort of feel that, and where I also feel it's not just a blame, where it's a reality, where I should, ये बड़ा complicated है.
It is.
It's just to believe your family, that because family could be quite demanding.
Exactly.
And you can't be that people pleaser all the time.
Yeah. It's so interesting, a very different thought process, but it also kind of coincides with the whole that गृहस्थ आश्रम वाला जो discussion करते हैं कि कुछ होता होगा human beings में, या तो हमारा stage ही ऐसे चलता है कि ये वही वाला time चल रहा है. Why is it that at a certain period of time you want to be with family, and जब आप juxtapose करते हो तो off लगता है? I don't know. This is just my thought. I'm just adding to it. Thank you for that. And final wrap up will be, you said I'm the voice and you've been saying nothing to me. He said the word nothing to me at very pivotal points of my life. That has changed my life, by the way. So I understand what that means. Why the voice of nothing? What does it mean? And why did you choose it? And is there a message which you can wrap with the voice of silence for the audience members who you and I don't know, who might be watching? You can take your time, Ashwni, on this one.
Yeah, nothing actually came out of, again, spontaneity, where, as I told you, I felt I'm nothing, I did nothing. So voice off, nothing, right? But later on, beautiful question, what's your voice of silence? It just opened up my mind to my own life and things like that. I think nothing is also about being attached to my beliefs, my values, my perceptions about things. When I let go of that, especially in therapy, coaching, etc., I'm able to look at the person as is, not based on my colored glasses. So that's the nothing which I'm coming from. Okay. Even in coaching, executive coaching or life coaching, we are always taught, just try to let go of all your beliefs, what is right, what is wrong, and just try to listen and explore the other person. Same is with the life. And that's what I've made out of my life, and that's what my endeavor is, to continuously, be in that nothing space where I don't judge, I don't pass on or force upon my beliefs, and try to explore life and people as they are. That's nothingness for me. Just the way they are, right? So I want to give you an example, like you climb a mountain, right? What do you get there? Nothing. But that's the experience.
Yeah.
Krishna talking to Arjuna. It's a completely different example. What is the problem with Arjuna? Arjuna is saying, I can't do this because it's beliefs, right? The whole Bhagavad Gita is said to make him drop his beliefs and how he should, choose to look at life, right? And so he transformed and did his duties, right? So nothingness can be seen in so many ways. For me, it is just letting go of myself and give chance to the other to be present, give life to be present. And the only thing I would like, your next question, I would like to say is, completely not connected. Be happy. Do whatever, be happy. Don't force happiness on yourself. Don't feel guilt if you're not happy, but be happy and pray that everyone is happy, because suffering is something I've closely seen with other people, myself, we've all seen. We don't want that. Pray every day that all beings are happy.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashwini. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.